Tim Duncan was never the loud kind of NBA superstar. No drama, no social media persona chasing attention. His greatness arrived quietly, through fundamentals, discipline, and results that spoke for themselves. The same philosophy defines his wealth: immense, controlled, and never on display. In San Antonio, his estate tells that story better than any interview ever could. And before the walls and gates made sense, it all began with a career shaped by restraint, fundamentals, and greatness without hype. Long before sold-out arenas and championship parades, Tim Duncan grew up on the quiet island of St. Croix, far removed from the noise of American sports culture. Born on April 25, 1976, he was raised in a working-class household where discipline wasn't preached. It was practiced. His mother, Ione, worked as a midwife, helping bring life into the world. His father, William, was a bricklayer, building things slowly, one block at a time. That rhythm of patience and responsibility shaped Tim long before basketball ever did. In the Duncan household, sports meant swimming, not hoops. Tim's older sister set the standard early. Cheryl was a champion swimmer before becoming a nurse. Trisha went even further, representing the U.S. Virgin Islands at the 1988 Olympics in Seoul. Naturally, Tim followed the same lane. As a teenager, he trained relentlessly, dreaming of qualifying for the 1992 Olympic Games. He was good enough that the dream felt real. Then reality intervened. In 1989, Hurricane Hugo ripped through St. Croix, destroying the island's only Olympic-sized pool. With no facility to train in and a deep fear of sharks keeping him out of the open ocean, swimming became impossible. Not long after, tragedy struck again. The day before his 14th birthday, Tim lost his mother to breast cancer. The loss was devastating. The discipline she had instilled remained, but the path forward suddenly disappeared. It was his brother-in-law who suggested basketball, not as an escape, but as a new structure. At St. Dunstan's Episcopal High School, Tim wasn't flashy or dominant right away. He was awkward, methodical, learning footwork and positioning with the same patience his father used laying bricks. Progress came quietly, but it came fast. That same approach followed him to Wake Forest University, where Coach Dave Odom recruited him into a system built on fundamentals. Despite early NBA buzz, Duncan made a choice that defined his character. He stayed in school. He turned down the fast track to the league to finish his degree, honoring his mother's wishes. While doing so, he became the most reliable force in college basketball. ACC Player of the Year twice, National Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. By 1997, the San Antonio Spurs selected him first overall. Paired with David Robinson, Duncan became part of the Twin Towers, a duo that dominated not with intimidation, but with precision. His rookie season looked effortless: 82 games, elite numbers, immediate respect. 2 years later, he delivered his first championship, defeating the New York Knicks in the 1999 Finals. The years that followed weren't perfect. Injuries slowed him. Playoff losses tested the Spurs. But Duncan never changed his approach. In 2002, he won League MVP. After Robinson retired, he carried the franchise without demanding attention. By 2014, when he captured his 5th championship against the Miami Heat, he had done something almost unheard of: win titles across 3 different decades while staying exactly the same player. He retired in 2016 after 19 seasons with one team, then returned quietly as a coach. No farewell tour, no spotlight. The same mindset that defined his career would also define how and where he chose to live. If you're expecting Tim Duncan's home to announce itself with marble statues or gold-plated gates, you're already thinking too loudly. San Antonio Estate. Fortress built for silence. Tim Duncan lives behind a 24/7 guarded gate in San Antonio, with 2 separate entrances designed for one purpose only: privacy. No paparazzi angles, no accidental drive-bys, just distance, physical and psychological, from the outside world. The main residence spans roughly 13,300 square feet, and it immediately feels less like a mansion and more like a controlled environment. 6 bedrooms, 5 full bathrooms, and 4 additional toilets are spread across a layout that values space, not spectacle. Nearby sits a fully independent guest house, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, perfect for family or close friends who understand the house rules. Quiet is not optional. Step inside the main hall and the tone becomes clear. Soaring ceilings rise above Venetian-style stucco walls, softened by expansive glass panels that flood the space with natural light. It's elegant without being loud, expensive without being flashy. The chef's kitchen anchors the home, complete with a banquet-style dining area and a wine cellar that suggests appreciation, not indulgence. This is a place designed to function smoothly, not impress visitors for 5 minutes. Then there's the part of the estate that feels unmistakably Duncan. A separate house and fitness complex, nearly 6,000 square feet, functions like a private NBA facility. An indoor basketball court, a full weight room, locker rooms, even a video game area, because balance matters. It's the kind of setup most players dream about, but Duncan built it with the same mindset he brought to the court: repetition, preparation, control. The amenities continue, but never cross into excess. A private movie theater replaces public premieres. A game room with a bar encourages small gatherings, not parties. A library and 2 offices underline focus. A barber shop eliminates unnecessary trips outside the gate. And tucked away quietly is a meditation room, arguably the most revealing space in the entire property. This is a house built for thinking. The master bedroom is less about size and more about calm. Measuring roughly 26 by 25 feet, it opens onto a private terrace and connects to a spa-style bathroom and a custom walk-in closet designed for order, not display. Nothing here is accidental. Outside, the estate expands into controlled recreation. Tennis and volleyball courts, a greenhouse and orchard that hint at routine rather than luxury. And then, almost unexpectedly, the centerpiece. What's often described as the world's largest private residential water park. Slides, caves, waterfalls, and a lazy river weave through the property, not as a flex, but as a private retreat. No noise, just movement at Duncan's pace. This estate doesn't try to impress the world. It shuts the world out. And when Duncan wants a different kind of quiet, one shaped by water, distance, and weekends rather than seasons, he heads somewhere else entirely. House in Spicewood, Texas. In 2005, at the height of his NBA dominance, Tim Duncan made a move that perfectly captured his off-court mindset. Instead of another fortified estate, he bought a 3,955 square foot lake house in Spicewood, just outside Austin, for $1.25 million. Built in 1999, the home sits on 2.25 acres along Lake Travis and feels deliberately human in scale. 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms offer space without excess. A double-height living room opens the interior, letting light spill in rather than shutting the outside world out. The chef's kitchen, media room, and home office suggest long weekends that blend rest with routine. Film study replaced by lake views, strategy sessions replaced by silence. Outside, the property becomes even more telling. A private boat dock stretches into the lake, inviting early mornings on the water. A fire pit anchors evenings, the kind meant for conversation, not crowds. There's no attempt to turn the home into a showcase. It's a retreat, a reset button. The kind of place where a superstar can exist without being one. By 2014, Duncan quietly listed the property for $945,000. No headlines, no emotional attachment. Like much of his life, the house served its purpose and then let go. It was never meant to be a trophy, just a pause between seasons. And that balance between power and restraint doesn't stop at real estate. It carries over into what Duncan drives, and why his garage tells its own quiet story. Car collection. The outlier comes first. The Lamborghini Aventador Roadster is the rare moment where Duncan allows himself something dramatic. Low, wide, and unapologetically aggressive, the Aventador's V12 engine delivers supercar-level performance with surgical precision. Carbon fiber panels, fighter jet styling, and a cockpit-like interior make it feel more like a machine than a car. This isn't about showing off. It's about engineering. Power-controlled, not flaunted, much like Duncan at his peak. Then there's the 1967 Chevrolet Camaro, a classic that speaks less to speed and more to heritage. This is American muscle in its purest form. Raw lines, mechanical honesty, and a connection to an era when cars were built to be felt, not filtered. The interior is simple, almost Spartan, but that's the point. It mirrors Duncan's own game: fundamentals, timing, and strength without ornament. The Dodge Challenger sits somewhere between past and present. Modern muscle wrapped in retro design, it offers comfort, space, and torque without pretending to be subtle. It's a cruiser, not a race car. A reminder that Duncan appreciates performance, but also practicality. The Challenger is the kind of car that fits Texas roads and long drives, confident, grounded, and unhurried. And then there's the most revealing choice of all, the Dodge Ram 2500. Big, heavy, and built for work, not image. This truck isn't about luxury interiors or sleek profiles. The Ram fits seamlessly into Duncan's lifestyle: estate living, privacy, and independence. When he drives it, he doesn't look like a Hall of Famer. He looks like a guy getting things done. Taken together, the garage tells a quiet story. There's speed, but only when it's earned. There's nostalgia, but no obsession. There's strength everywhere, but never wasted. Just like his career, Duncan's cars are chosen with intention, not to impress strangers, but to serve a life built on control. And that same mindset raises the next question. When flash is optional and discipline is everything, how much did a career like this actually pay? Income and net worth. For Tim Duncan, money was never the scoreboard. Over a 19-year NBA career spent entirely with the San Antonio Spurs, Duncan built a net worth of over $100 million without ever chasing the lifestyle usually attached to that number. 5 championships, 2 regular season MVPs, 3 finals MVPs, 15 All-NBA and All-Defensive selections. His resume was loud. His finances were not. On paper, the earnings were massive. Duncan made an estimated $242 million in NBA salary alone. His rookie contract brought in $10.2 million. A 6-year, $75 million extension followed in 2000. Then came the peak deal in 2003, a 7-year, $122 million contract that aligned perfectly with the Spurs' championship window. At multiple points, Duncan was earning more than $20 million per season, comfortably among the league's highest-paid players. Yet what truly defined his wealth wasn't how much he made. It was how much he didn't take. Duncan became known for accepting pay cuts to help San Antonio remain competitive. In 2012, he signed a 3-year, $30 million deal well below market value. In 2015, another 2-year extension for just $10 million followed. In a league driven by max contracts and leverage, Duncan treated money as a tool, not a statement. Off the court, his endorsement approach mirrored the same restraint. His most significant partnership was with Adidas, reportedly earning around $2 million per year at its peak, complete with signature models like the Total Equilibrium and Commander. He later transitioned quietly to Nike. No signature shoe, no campaign built around his personality. Local deals, such as beloved H-E-B commercials in Texas, fit him better than global branding. At his peak, endorsement income was estimated at $2 to $5 million annually. modest by superstar standards. Then came the one moment Duncan couldn't control. In 2015, he sued longtime financial advisor Charles Banks, accusing him of steering Duncan into fraudulent investments that resulted in losses exceeding $20 million. Banks later pleaded guilty to wire fraud. For a player known for trust and loyalty, the betrayal cut deeper than the money itself. Because for Duncan, money was never the finish line. It was simply another responsibility. And that sense of responsibility leads directly into the part of his legacy that rarely makes headlines: what he chose to give back. Philanthropy. At the center of that work stands the Tim Duncan Foundation, created not to build a public image, but to address specific needs Duncan understood firsthand. The foundation focused on youth sports, education, health, and medical research, often raising funds through low-key community events like the Slam Duncan Charity Golf Classic or the Bowling for Dollar Bowl-a-thon. There were no celebrity spectacles, just steady results. In the early 2000s, the foundation raised more than $350,000 for breast and prostate cancer research, causes closely tied to the loss of Duncan's mother. Education became another long-term priority. In 2019, Duncan donated $500,000 to the Our Kids Can education program in the U.S. Virgin Islands, helping support students in the place that shaped him. When the COVID-19 pandemic left students stranded away from home, his foundation quietly stepped in, covering airfare so they could return safely. Schools in St. Croix later received practical upgrades: water coolers, copiers, and essential supplies. Small changes that made daily life easier, not flashier. In San Antonio, Duncan focused on the basics: food insecurity, cancer treatment, and child welfare. In 2020, he donated $100,000 to the San Antonio Food Bank, matching the Spurs' contribution for a total of $200,000 during the height of the pandemic. Years earlier, he challenged the community to raise funds and matched donations at a 2-to-1 ratio, turning quiet leadership into real momentum. Cancer research remained a constant thread. In 2014, Duncan donated $247,000 to the Cancer Therapy and Research Center in San Antonio, supporting cutting-edge genomic research. His foundation also maintained long-term support for the American Cancer Society, ensuring funding didn't disappear once headlines moved on. Perhaps the most revealing moments came during crisis. After Hurricanes Irma and Maria devastated the U.S. Virgin Islands, Duncan launched a fundraiser, personally contributing $250,000 and pledging to match donations up to $1 million. He didn't stop at checks. He helped organize airlifts of thousands of pounds of supplies, focusing on action over acknowledgement. And that same instinct for privacy, choosing impact over attention, extends into the most guarded part of his life: the people he protects by keeping them out of the spotlight. Personal life. He married his college sweetheart, Amy Sherrill, in July 2001 after meeting her at Wake Forest, where she was a cheerleader. The marriage lasted 12 years and produced 2 children, but it ended quietly in August 2013. The divorce, initiated by Sherrill and finalized under a prenuptial agreement signed after Duncan's first major NBA contract, was handled with minimal public commentary. Reports at the time mentioned irreconcilable conflict, and while rumors circulated, Duncan never addressed them. Silence, again, was the choice. Shortly after the divorce, Duncan began a long-term relationship with Vanessa Macias in 2013. Macias, a television personality and sports commentator, was known to many viewers from The Amazing Race and from her outspoken support of the San Antonio Spurs. Despite her public-facing background, the relationship itself remained deliberately low-key. They appeared together occasionally at Spurs games, but there were no red carpets, no interviews, and no attempts to rebrand Duncan's image. Though often referred to as his partner for more than a decade, there was never confirmation of marriage. By design, not oversight. Duncan is a father of three: Sydney, Draven, and Quill. Since retiring from the NBA in 2016, and after a brief, quiet return to the Spurs as an assistant coach during the 2019 to 2020 season, he has centered his life around family and routine. San Antonio remains his base. He travels occasionally, including trips back to the Virgin Islands, but there's no sense of restlessness. His days are intentionally ordinary. Friends describe a man comfortable without structure imposed by a season schedule. He spends time with his children, enjoys video games, and has a well-known affection for pets. The furry ones, as he once joked. He still shows up at Spurs games from time to time, slipping into his seat without ceremony, content to watch rather than be watched. Faith also remains a quiet constant in his life, reflected in a cross tattoo and a steady private devotion rather than public display. In an era where fame often demands constant access, Duncan chose something else entirely. He didn't retreat from life, he curated it. The same discipline that defined his career shaped his relationships, his boundaries, and his sense of peace. Thank you for staying with us and taking this quiet journey through the life of Tim Duncan. From championships to silence, from discipline to peace, his story reminds us that real greatness doesn't shout. It endures. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue telling stories that matter, with depth and respect. And tell us in the comments, would you trade the spotlight for peace?